Alright, it is 9:28 a.m. It is October the 8th, Friday, the last day of the week, and this is the watch list. I'm going to play it super cautiously in theory with morning panic bounce plays because they just haven't seemed to really work this week and a little bit of last week as well. So I don't necessarily want to be stuck into something that just keeps failing. So that's the idea there. SPQS is probably not going to do anything today. Perhaps it can, but this could be nice if it tries to break out of this 17.4 level TGGI. It's just learning the patterns really on like a stock that might try to reverse after this recent move. So I just want to learn from this really. I don't necessarily want to trade it, but if it looks clean, if it does something clean, maybe a red to green move, I might be interested in it. TUNR could be a morning panic bounce play if it looks clean, but this one probably won't. Just doesn't seem like it, but I could totally be wrong with that. I'll keep watching ISWH. It looks like an inverse head and shoulders actually. ENZZ, I'll probably remove this one or at least move it to another watch list, but it could do something nice if it tries to break this 20 level. PUGE, it just keeps uptrending. This could be a morning panic bounce play setup again. Or maybe I'll just wait for a higher low like yesterday. CYBL is going to be a wash. Another one of these with that inverse head and shoulders looking thing. FERN is trying to regain itself too. So I'll look at morning panic bounce plays, but I'm going to be very cautious because they haven't worked that nicely. Although yesterday wasn't really bad. I think the main setup right now is just first and second green day moves. So I just gotta learn those patterns. That's what I have for right now. Alright, it is 10:01 a.m. and I want to review my thoughts. I did not trade anything. This was just an attempt to see if ALPP was tradable on Schwab. This thing did do that thing that I've learned now with morning panic bounce plays. A lot of them look like what could be a normal morning panic bounce play, but the telltale sign that this thing is not going to do probably a nice job and break the level of support is that if VWAP, this thing right here, is way too close. That was totally the case here. It broke it briefly and then it turned around. I wasn't necessarily looking at it when it was really doing this. I think I was perhaps, but this is the type of thing that I will be trying to be interested in if it just looks like VWAP is too close. A lot of them, I think they just learned to maybe break the support level because you know, it does scare out the dip buyers who need to cut losses quickly and then they turn it around. So I was watching this very closely for like inverse head and shoulders, shoulder head shoulder, right? Or maybe you can call it in this case, because it did fail and make a potential head, it's an inverse head and shoulder, sure, but it could also just be a morning panic bounce play, higher low. Here's the panic bounce and then here's a higher low, just like yesterday, right, with PUGE, I believe. But the issue with this one is that it is a higher priced OTC. They don't tend to work that well. I could have been in at 362, but for a long time that was a very nice support level. You can tell here, here briefly, and then broke it. So I wasn't trying to get in at 362, and it keeps trying to find a new low, which is still going to be higher than here, but maybe I don't have the best entry. So I never traded it for that reason, and it did have some like sketchy price action yesterday, so it might not really work as well. And the last thing to consider is that this is an old one, so it has ran before, and I wasn't necessarily sure if the probability is that high on something that could, you know, have a lot of bag holders because it ran before. But it seems to be working here. It would have been tough for me to be in this. I just didn't like it, but I'm glad that this one is working. TUNR didn't look nice. I would have to trade on E-Trade for this one, so I never put money in it. ENZC, I was watching this for like a potential break above 20, and it was kind of doing it. It even did put up here, I guess, a sketchy higher low, but the price action was bad and it's fading. You know, it was only up because of news. It's not early on in the pattern like it was here back in February, so I knew this thing might not work out. And that was clearly the case there. No interest in TGGI, although I guess it could try to break this 1, 2, 3 level and do something nice, but You know, that's not a priority. I was watching this one too, FERN, for the same idea, but it just might be a bit too late, being the third day. Maybe it won't run for a third day in a row and it will fail, but maybe this thing can do it. The ideal level would be that 430 level to break. CBYL. Yeah, I never liked it. It just looks weird. Nothing clean. Maybe a weird inverse head and shoulders, but the range sucks, so nothing there. And then this one is nice. PUGE. I was watching this one when it was trying to break past this 134 level. It did. There was a huge wall of people on the ask at 135, but they broke through it, and that was cool. It got as high as 138, and then I thought, well, maybe I could be interested in it if it touches VWAP. It did towards VWAP, and it did do this drop, but it held right here, this 129 level. It didn't touch the line, so I never got in. And this one actually came back, so I guess let's just say give or take 13 to 13.7. That's like a 4% move, so not necessarily the best. And that would have been like a pretty solid entry, very good entry at 130. And then the last one that I was looking at, let me find it. I think it's this. This is like this stock is being promoted, or let's just say this stock is getting more attention. So I saw when it first had its move the other day, just to keep an eye on it to see what it would do the first day, right when this thing was promoted, I guess, from where I was looking. And you know, it did a nice move. It did a quick morning spike. I'm gonna keep watching and seeing how other OTCs react when they're mentioned, but this one did a very nice move from this 52 to 74 level, right? And then it kind of did put up higher lows to be interested in for a dip buy setup. And then today I was actually interested in buying this because 164, as you can tell, was the previous close here. It had this pretty premature spike to 67, but then when it dropped to 64 and it was holding this, you know, green to red level, when it was holding it, right, and looking nice, I tried to place an order at 6.5 in this candle right here, right when it was starting to do it. You know, right when the 65 level was looking very small on the ask and it looks like it was going to be wiped out, it did make a move to 70, so that would have been nice. I just wasn't really there for that one. And the main issue was that it's not tradable on Schwab, because this one doesn't have its current filings, at least when Schwab made a list of stocks that are tradable or not tradable. So I didn't want to necessarily throw a $1,600 position on a mid-level sub-penny stock, but that was super profitable. That would have been it, but I'm fine that I didn't trade it for that reason. I'm going to keep watching how some of these stocks behave, and you know, then I can learn from it, and then I can have more conviction, more confidence in trading these, especially with size, if it's not something that I can trade on Schwab, because of course he trade charges commissions for these. So that's really all I have for right now. PUGE could try to hold itself, but I don't know, this one's pretty sketchy. That's all I have for right now. I didn't trade anything, but that was a setup right there with AMLH, and yeah, we'll see what this thing does. Looks like AOPP had a sketchy sell-off here. They just don't work that well on higher priced OTCs. Alright, it is 11:11 a.m. very lucky minutes, and I had one trade here. I did take a L on this one, but I only lost $2.50. I traded a tiny size $75 position because of how damn sketchy this one is. On top of that, this thing does not show a level 2 on E-Trade, so I was kind of trading a little blind. Sketchy freaking stock, goes from $1 to $3, just straight green candle price action. It did try here to hold, and that failed. And then I thought maybe it can try to do like a VWAP hold, a dip towards VWAP, especially this. It didn't work, and it was hard. Maybe I could have sold for better. Maybe I could have cut losses at a better price, but I wasn't able to, just because of the fact that you know, I just can't see the level 2 here, and Schwab only has a bid in the ask. So I took a, and this thing could try to turn around now. I mean, at some point it can. Maybe I can try the 3 ticker rule. So if it has 3 green candles in a row, I can get in right after that, risk the bottom of the 3rd green candle for something like this. Right here I had 2. It wasn't able to do 3. That could be something I could try in theory. But anyway, I was in at 1109. Right here, this candle right here. At the time, it was still kind of holding itself, and then I got out the same minute, but almost 11:10 when it broke that 150 level, and I cut losses. I got out at 145, which was fine, and the new bottom was 11:17. This is perhaps the ultimate bottom, but I like my try there at this VWAP level because it could have totally have held there. A lot of them try to do that, and yeah, so that's a very interesting stock, this one. As for the others, I haven't been really interested in it. ENZZ did turn around eventually. Maybe this can put up a higher low, but again, this thing is super late in its run up. It's not really that nice of a stock. It was only up the other day because of news. TONR, it is trying to uptrend. Maybe you'll try to break the day high at what is this, 11, but it's not necessarily. Actually looks nice in a 15-day chart. I don't want to trade this because this is an E-Trade stock. I don't want to throw a $1,600 position on something that looks like that. TGGI doesn't look too nice. It can try to break this 12 level, sure, but you know, I'm not too interested in it. Although it could make it a second green day, which would be nice. There is a big wall of sellers, but that could be something. CYBL, this one did kind of turn around eventually, but it was all ugly and choppy. I wouldn't have been interested in it here. Never put money into it, and I would have had to have traded a larger size because this is an E-Trade stock, so I'm not that interested in it. Even here, I mean, it might try to hold this level. If I had to guess, it could try to hold this level and uptrend. I'll probably just continue to watch it, but it's probably no trade. CEI, I was just looking at it, nothing interesting here. Maybe inverse head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, but you know, this one, it's just kind of sketchy. PUGE, this one looks like a head and shoulders. Not a perfect one, but yeah, that's all I have. MMTLP, that's a weird one. It's a 5 ticker stock. I mean, a 5-letter stock. I hope this wasn't like some foreign stock and I had to pay like that foreign exchange fee, but there's no F's in this, so yeah, we'll see what this one does. If I had to guess, this thing can make a nice run up. It totally can, but it is kind of bad to not be able to trade with level 2. And oh, I do have to mention this. I was trying to get in it, as you can see here previously, right? And this little initial move right here when it first tried to turn around, 1105, I tried to get in at 166. I didn't get executed. I didn't get filled. People were just chasing it up. And then I tried again, 168. Didn't work. And then I tried one more time for 175, and I thought, if I don't get filled here, I'll just leave this alone. And then, you know, I could have tried again at 185, but then I felt like this might be the top. So, and the main reason why I was interested in it right here was because of the fact that it did have big volume. So when that all failed, I thought maybe VWAP could do the move, but that wasn't the case. We'll see what this one does. It could try to turn around now. That's all I have for the moment. Alright, it is 11:23. I am officially down just a tiny $5.50, which is totally fine. Just trying to try again with this stock, trying that 3 green ticker rule. 1, 2, 3 green tickers. You risk the bottom of the 3rd candle. Really helps on sketchy stocks like this, and it was 145 my risk level. So when it broke it, I got out at 144, trading tiny $75 positions because I know this thing is a bit crazy. Not really nice percent losses. They're kind of big, but that's why I did do tiny freaking sizes because it's like a $1 stock. And I went in at held this thing for exactly a minute. and that was what, $3. So my entry was 21. Sucks, you know, I thought I had a potential setup here, but I guess I don't have the good grasp of the market here. But this could be also a head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, shoulder head, and maybe it'll make a shoulder as long as it doesn't break. I would risk 118 honestly, but you know, it's kind of dumb not to be able to trade this thing with level 2, so I'll probably just not trade it again. But if I had to guess, it will turn around here as long as it tries to hold this level. If it fails that, then this thing might be super damn sketchy. After all, it did run yesterday too, so this thing could have a lot of room to fall. Anyway, oh, and also one thing to know, this thing is, I think, shortable, which I find super interesting. Is it? Oh, it's not available anymore. Or the borrow. I guess it's not officially shortable anymore, but yeah, I tried at, yeah, it wasn't the best because I ended up hitting the ask, and like right after I hit the ask at this one candle right here, 121, you know, it started like trading at 147, 146 probably at the ask, and you know, I could have gotten a better price. I would have made the loss a bit smaller, but that wasn't the case here. I might even try again just one more time. After I'm trading small, this could be an inverse head and shoulders, but you know, it could just fall all the way back down. So yeah, that's what I have in mind. Just tried one more time with that 3 ticker idea. It didn't work here, but that's fine because I've seen it work plenty of times. This is one where it didn't, and that's totally cool. Alright, it is 11:40, and this was the second red candle I would have probably sold. I should have tried that 3 ticker rule setup at this point right here. Here's the first one, the second one, the third one, and then I'm in at 11, not 11, what the heck, $1.39. I could even became a big baller and traded 100 shares instead of 50, but 3 candle setup, it could be the inverse head and shoulders that I was talking about, but it could have just failed and kept downtrending again. So what I was really thinking of was the idea that you know, it could be inverse head and shoulders, but I was just scared out. I should have probably thought of the 3 ticker, the 3 green candle ticker rule thing. So here's 1, here's 2, here's 3. You're in at 139. Here's the first red candle, and then you sell at the second one. So this thing can keep running, of course, but that would have been killer if I was in at 139 and I sold at 164, but I didn't do it. I was too busy thinking about the inverse head and shoulders. There are so many patterns, so many setups, and I need to be aware of all of them at the same time. That's doable, but yeah, that was a cool move. Let's see if it breaks 167. 167 is at the ask, but is it going to actually break it? I have this on ALPP. 169. No, it was there briefly. It could try. It could totally do it, but yeah, that's the only thing I could have probably have done differently. Just think about the 3 candle rule setup. You know, this was the other ideal level 1, 2, 3, and again you risk 145, and then this one did fail. You know, 144 broke under, but you know, if I was doing that 3 ticker rule setup, I'm gonna have to rewatch the last recording. I literally don't understand at this point what the setup was, because I was not in it until 11:21, which is way after the 3 ticker rule setup here, right? And I probably might have even have gotten a better entry. Maybe not, but I don't understand this setup at 121. This just seems retarded, because you know, this would have been the second red candle. Why would I be buying on the second red candle for this? And you know, I understand the first one. This one could have worked with VWAP, right? I could have done that, but I don't understand the previous trade. I'll probably have to you know, when I rewatch this, I'll see what my mindset was. But I probably just traded this one stupidly, and then that kind of wore me out. So I wasn't really that interested in trying again for the inverse head and shoulders here, or even the 3 ticker rule. So that is my bad. I don't know what was up with me in that previous one, but that's a great thing that I hope I don't have to do again anymore. It did break out this level. That's nice. It's at 175, but I would have been out there. But let's see if I can actually get in a trade next time. Nothing there. I guess TONR would be kind of cool if it were to break this level. Yeah, I think I mentioned that before. TGGI, down training, CEI, no interest. Not interested in this one. Not interested in this one either. You know, this one could try to break if anything. And ALPP does look a little interesting. I would have been interested in it at 365. I probably just hesitated too much. Yeah, I'm gonna one day flick the switch, and I'm not gonna hesitate on setups that work, and I will hesitate on setups that don't work. I don't understand that last trade I did there, but that's all I have for right now. Alright, it is 11:55 a.m. and I went from negative $5.50 to now being up $5.25. I didn't even do the best sell, but 50 tiny shares, right? 1150 right here was my entry. I hit I did hit the ask, but it was a good price. I got in at 43.5, so right here, right, pretty much 144, but I did get the middle 43.5. And why inverse head and shoulders? Shoulder, head, shoulder. Sure, it played off of this here's too. Shoulder, head, shoulder, right? But this is a bit more clean. Shoulder, head, shoulder. And I sold when it looked like it was trying to form a red candle kind of soon. And the neckline could have been resistance. It's still above it, but you know, there was also like a big bidder on here. It did show some guy with 1,000 shares. I don't know, actually that isn't kind of big, but anyway, yeah, I sold at my sell was actually nice at 165. I didn't think I was gonna get 165, but I did. That was a nice sell. That was at 11:55 right here, that candle, this doji thing, and I was in again at 11:50 right here, and that really made my day. I'm not gonna probably trade this thing again. Maybe inverse head and shoulders, second higher low, shoulder, head, shoulder, and then it makes a higher low from here. That could be the thing too, but I'll probably just not trade it. This is a freaking killer percent gain. Unfortunately, I traded a tiny size, but I don't mind trading that tiny size at all, especially because I tried here and then I stupidly tried this freaking random mess here, and then that kept me from trying the inverse head and shoulders here, shoulder, head, shoulder, or you can call this the head, a potential head of an inverse head and shoulder, shoulder, head. I'm not trying to be too confusing here, but and then the 3 ticker rule, I missed it just because I was kind of messed up. I don't mind this first trade here, that was fine, but this one was kind of stupid. But at least I did push myself to trade this, even if I didn't trade like 100 shares or 1,000 shares or something like that. But I am happy that I tried it. If I traded just a $700 position, I would have had a $100 day. That's crazy. And it's still doing it, you know. That was the first red candle here. Maybe so when it makes the second red candle. I'm really happy that I finished up on the day, even though it's $5. I mean, that's better than nothing. And this trade was super nice. I'm happy I was able to trade this thing. Yeah, this thing really made my day, despite it being a tiny gain. Beside the fact I traded a $70 position, that was super nice, and that can give me more confidence to try another setup in the future. Even after I try on some other setup and it doesn't work, this is super nice. I wonder if this thing's gonna break this 170. Actually, no, this 180 level. I'll make an update later to see what it does. I'm really happy with that trade there, even if the size wasn't that big. Alright, it is 5:37 and I am here to call it off. I finished up a whopping $5.25 maybe trading this sketchy 1, 2, 3, yep, 5 letter stock. It's not a foreign stock too. Imagine if it was a foreign stock. Would that make it 6 letters? Anyway, I did not see any of this, but this is something I will see in my dreams, because this thing was just such a beautiful inverse head and shoulders. You know, you could say it was off of here, shoulder, head, shoulder. That was a super nice move. Also, the 3 ticker rule worked here. It didn't work here. And you know, that was a nice, just a nice looking thing. And I think the last time I went over it, it was around here at 171 perhaps, and it did break past it. It got to 186, so it did break that 180 level, but then we had that big red candle. It still held this VWAP level, put up a higher low. I mean, unless you want to count this sketchy wick right here. And as high, yeah, its high was 226, so there was plenty of room for more profitability. But I'm really happy that I pushed myself and traded that. You know, sure, I missed out this section right here, but at least I pushed myself to trade this section, even if that was a small amount. I'm really happy with the way the week ended, even though I think it'll probably be a small red week. I just learned a lot of good lessons. And I need to keep working on finding new setups besides morning panic bounce plays, because unfortunately those are not working as well as they have been, which is the thing I'm best at. So I just have to keep trying and keep pushing myself to trade more setups. ENZZ, this one did ultimately fade, so I will remove it, but it will be in the old watch list, just sitting there, you know, in case it ever tries to do a move in the future. ALPP, at some point I was interested in it at this 365 level. You know, it did do the thing, uptrend, and then break past VWAP just a little bit. It got the 370A, and then it retested this level, and then it made a double top really from here again at this 370A consolidation, but it actually failed. It broke the level, sketchy drop. So, you know, I hope in theory if I would have pushed myself and traded it at 365, I could have maybe have sold near the tops here, or maybe when it just started to fail, or perhaps just you know, just cutting losses quickly. But that wasn't such a bad attempt, trying to find something like this where it's having this run up and it can try to catch itself and continue the uptrend. CEI, maybe inverse head and shoulders here. I did see this move right here, I think, shoulder, head, shoulders, but that wasn't that nice. This was a bit nicer, very scary. And then, you know, when is the pattern over? Well, shoulder, head, and shoulders, right? It didn't break the neckline here, but it did later, and it got as low as 170 if you want to count the wick. That was the most with that. I didn't really look at this stock that much. TGGI, kind of weird looking. TONR, it did break out of this range, you know, but that's, I mean, how much further can it go? It can keep going. You know, maybe I could have pushed myself. Maybe a future version of me would be in this stock, perhaps. Maybe not. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but this thing can make a move. It can try to officially break out of this, you know, 13 level and make something nice. That's something it can totally do. CYBL had a nice day yesterday, and today was just kind of weird. Nothing really that I was interested in. PUGE, nothing I was interested in today. Maybe I was watching this morning panic. I don't remember anymore. It did do a breakout here over this high. I remember seeing this price action here. It's still trying to hold itself together. This thing can make some nice moves. And yep, MMTLP, that's all I have. I'm going to call it off. I could have really made a lot of money, honestly, trading that inverse head and shoulders here. I could have really made a serious amount, but it was a bit sketchy, especially because it was trading off of VWAP. I'm happy with my first trade here. I'm disappointed with this shitty trade. I'm guessing it was a VWAP breakout. I really don't know. And then that kind of sketched me out from trading this here probably, but at least I did push myself here once again. That's all I got. Hopefully I can, you know, have another 3-figure day sometime soon. You know, in theory, I could have traded a larger size, and I would have really have helped. Just a $700 position would have gotten me into a $100 plus day, even with my sell at 165. So a lot of room for improvement, but I'm pretty happy with the experience here, and I definitely look forward to rewatching this, especially to see what the heck was I thinking with this trade back there.